Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tech Productions. Today I bankrupt being joined once again by Jimmy, Austin, and like always, Fluff's not here, so Nick.
Usually do me last when Fluff's not here.
Yeah.
I never have done you, and I never will.
Back by popular demand to me.
So yeah, today's matchup is Austin versus Nick, SS4 Vegeta versus Serge Broly. Keep in mind his buttons down below. Click them. They're there for a reason. But guys, let's take this away. We saw SS4 Vegeta earlier. So Nick, it's Serge Broly. You want to talk about it?
I mean, it's the same list that I played last time it was featured on camera. I just like the changes that I made, so I just wanted to bring it out and have a second showing with it.
So, going into this matchup for both of y'all, what was the mindset?
For me, I know what Serge Broly does. I played against the Knicks, Serge Broly quite a bit, and I don't care about comboing in this deck, unlike Coolers, so I wasn't worried about the combo killing that much, but I was worried about him getting down there enough to think it's 3 life you need. So, to do your effects on your awakened side. So I was a little bit skeptical of that, but other than that, I really don't have, I don't see a deck and I don't think of a strategy in my head. I literally just kind of make it up as I go. I never prepare for any deck. I'm just like, it's this deck. All right, cool.
Well, okay, let me better phrase that question. When you sit down against your opponent and you go, okay, cool, they're playing this deck, do you create a mental checklist of what to look out for, what to approach, and how to approach?
Not really. I just generally know what generic red stuff or what the deck does. I've played against it before, so I don't make a checklist, think things through. I just have in the back of my mind that those things could happen.
Nah, you overthink shit when you do that. Never think while playing the game. Don't read your cards. Just turn cardboard sideways. That's how you win.
Then slam your head into the desk as hard as you can and yell victory when you win.
So,
yeah.
How about this then? Nick. As a deck that likes a combo, going against a deck that can negate every chance it has the opportunity for it. How did that feel? The mindset going to that?
Well, going against blue is kind of rough with this deck because I always want to get to the combo step as many times as possible. So I know the later portions of this game are going to be very crucial, just because the more energy he has and the more cards in his hand, the more potential he has to stop my attacks. But the flip side with that, I don't really run too many negates in my build. I think I run four counter attacks. So I want to get to the combo step, and he's going to have to swing at me in order to kill me. So I can do pretty much the same stuff I do on my offensive turn defensively. So I just save my stuff when needed.
Well, I figure a lot of your rival-based cards would be more so... can be aggressive, but also can be defensive, because I know you run the Gogetas and the Champabiris in there that is really good at clearing cards off the field. So I don't think it hurts you too much to be able to play what would be your turn on your opponents.
Yeah, it doesn't. And it's kind of more important in this matchup because I don't want him, at least his leader, I don't want his leader hitting me. So I'd rather save the pieces for defensive stuff so I can stop the ramp. Because once he gets to a certain energy total, just all hell breaks loose, and I really can't stop it at that point. So it's very important in the early portions of the game to keep that down to a minimum. So defensive comboing is a lot more important to me now than it would be later.
Yeah, this deck hits its first, in my opinion, air quote checkpoint at 4 energy when you start using Ready for Rumble and stuff early on, because people won't want to attack with only 2 energy or 3 energy to KO their own energy. Then the biggest where it pops off is when it's 6 energy, because then you just play your the Rise of Super Warrior, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and just start exploding from there.
And you can see here in my defensive stuff, I actually tap an energy for the Raditz combo piece. Normally it's free, but I didn't have a multicolor card in my energy, so I had to tap an energy for it. I kind of didn't see any multicolored pieces that I wanted to charge early on, so it kind of hurts not seeing a multicolor early enough. But that was the reason why I tapped. A lot of times you don't have to.
So I do want to comment on a card in your energy, the 2-drop Broly. I believe that was from it was the promo alongside the Surge Broly leader.
Mhm.
Has that card ever done anything ever?
Yes,
Yes.
that's it. It's a green piece. I mean, it can KO battle cards, adding up to 2 costs. So if your opponent wants to spam tokens, I mean, you can clear tokens. It also you draw 2 and drop a card. So this deck doesn't have too many inherent draw pieces, especially with the leader on the awakened side. So it's just another way to keep your hand healthy in a pinch. And then, like I said, the removal is nice. And then mostly it's a piece to Alliance with Piccolo Jr.
I think you
And
brought Surge Broly the week before our last actual week last year of playing, and me and you played on camera, and you played it against me.
I did. See, so it comes up. It's not very often. Like
I don't watch the
deck
videos on this channel.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But this build I have currently is more red based than green. It runs a lot of multicolor cards, but the green cards specifically are pretty minimal. I mean, that's just I prefer negging in this case than KOing. Just because negging I feel like is a more powerful form of removal, and since I had the option of the two, I'd rather go with negging. Just because it hits more stuff. And then actually backing up a little bit, if you guys saw it, I did activate battle on an SS3 Goku, which is something that you almost never see. But it's an activate battle for 1 red energy. You can neg a card minus 5k. And the reason I did that was because I had a second one in hand, so I could free play it to get an alliance target for Piccolo.
Yeah, anytime you can free play in red green, it's pretty much worth doing just to put your alliance in check. But I do ask that question because I rarely ever see that Broly played. And most of the time when I see it played, it's exactly where it's at right now in the energy or ends up in the drop area as a combo piece. So
Yeah,
I just wonder how you felt about it overall.
Yeah, the green cards aren't really... They're more just green cards. They're not really detrimental to the deck being able to play. I just like to have the ratios even, and since it does run a lot of multicolor cards, comboing can be kind of rough. So it's a free 5k combo.
For sure. Then Austin, you doing blue stuff over there?
Yeah, I think right now I'm attacking his Piccolo Jr.
Nah, you passed the turn. Yeah, you did swing at Piccolo Jr. He comboed out of it.
And then Piccolo Jr. is a good card, and I also forget that it's 3 or more. I thought it was like more than 3, not 3 or more.
The inclusivity of the 3 makes that card over the top.
Yeah. Because then, if you have 3 life, you can swing double strike, alliance, take a life, pick a life, and then just combo out.
For sure.
Now, I know we talked about it either, I think it was the game that popped up 2 days ago. Your deck's not kind of where you wanted it. Like, you don't have, like, all the Ultra Instinct Kamehamehas, I think is what it is, which is a really good, like, buffer to when you're trying to kill cards on the board. So like when you swung with a 20k card, he was like, cool, he just exhausted 1 card for it. But if you had that card, that would made him at least get rid of potentially 3 cards just to stop that attack.
Yeah, and then also there's other pieces, like I want to add Tapion, I want to add the Majin Buu, Unison. I want to add quite a few pieces to it just to make it be better. And I have a couple things that I've added in there myself for the new list, which hopefully they can get out soon, because Jimmy said, man, so you borrow cards. It's like, okay, just come to me, man. So hopefully,
I'm making my face redemption here. So I need all the goodwill I can get. So keep talking good things about me, Austin.
You're welcome.
Thanks, bro.
And so I'm adding a few just kind of cheeky things for myself that I want in there, and this is pretty much the first and only build that I did, besides adding like the baby unisons. That was the only change I made from this deck, like that I made like 4 to 5 months ago.
So sniping a card from his hand and then playing a unison that can either snipe the board or a card from your hand—that's pretty good.
Yeah,
having the double hand knowledge is nice, and as you see, everyone saw when I peeked the hand. He's got a lot of heat in there.
yeah.
So it really helps me like playing my later turns because I know he's got a secret rare, so I kind of want to slow the game down as much as possible so he doesn't get that ramp. He's got a lot of floodgates, so my turns are going to be mostly donezo once I swing once. But it just provides so much foresight for me, so now I know kind of what to expect in my later turns.
Yeah, this that's why I just really enjoy this, and I think the better deck list I can do fairly good, and the just because it's so much thinking you can do, and you get a lot of free reign to get energy and play like bigger, like meatier cards, just for shits and giggles. Yeah, because in this list, you don't you fully 100% full cast for 8 that's secret rare, just plop it on the table.
And
right here,
Vegeta. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because as he was tapping, Austin said, "You already know what it is," and he played it. But I honestly did not know what it was.
Wow.
So I was like, "Sure, I did. Yeah." Of course, I saw it coming.
Well, because you saw my hand, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be next turn." I think I had like 2 in my hand, so I'm like, what's coming. It's like generic energy 6 play.
Here's a question. Now I know Nick is a very heavy unison-driven individual. If he sees a unison on his opponent's board, he'll do anything he can to kill it, even though it costs him the game sometimes. You could have taken the unknown parasite instead of Zintabine, pay the 3 to get the draw off that, and then now you have a way of potentially using the trunks and stuff like that in your hand, or do you just want the open energy?
I just want the open energy so I can, because I have so many negates. I have dimension magic. I have the bean. I have I know this deck. I know there's a rival cards. I know there's stuff he wants to do in the battle step, so I want to have as many negates in my hand as possible. If I had done Baby Parasite, it would just have royally screwed me, in my opinion.
Yeah, but Nick will get tunnel visioned. And it's always funnier to watch Nick get tunnel visioned.
It's just his taunt. Nick's like, here's how he sees it.
Sad part is it works every time.
Even if it costs you the game.
Even if it costs me an ass fluff.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, there's a unison? Oh, I don't care. Just never swing at it. I always forget to swing at unisons. But it sounds like Nick and I are complete opposites in that sense.
Yes.
I guess it gets to the point with Nick too, because I'll play unison out, being like, I don't care if this gets hit or anything, and I know he'll hit it. So I'm like, I don't really care.
I just realized you have 2 rated rumbles. What the hell?
Yeah,
that was one rated rumble.
Yeah.
That's why I had the bean, man. So I can eat a dimension magic. I mean, bean, then be like, haha, ready to rumble. Yeah,
he restood 1 to do a negate. That's really weird, but all right.
See, now if I see, this is where I didn't know that it was 3 less life, because then I would have just taken my own life to do the sparking activation, so I could have more energy. That's what I was saying. I forgot it was 3. It was 3 or more. I thought it was just more.
You can't really see it on my side, but I have a fat hand. Being able to keep Piccolo on the board for 3 or 4 turns now, I have a very healthy hand. So I have enough combo pieces. I got rival pieces. Essentially anything at this point now that he's at a low life total, as long as I can get 1 attack in, it's game.
I always felt like Nick was very comfortable. When he awakens at 5 energy, it's probably because he does have a Piccolo on board. Because it allows, like you said, it allows you to continue drawing cards for your turn.
You mean 5 life?
5 life, yeah, I said 5 energy, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think I've asked you
Yeah.
before. I'm like, why'd you awaken? You're losing your draws. And you're like, I feel okay with this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, if I can see Piccolo's at least 2 in a game, like I'm gonna theoretically like make up the negative cost of not drawing. Because when leaders mostly swing, they get +1, so I'll get 2 on my draws, so it makes up for the lack.
Yeah. And here, I was debating I was debating so much here what I wanted to do, and in my mind right here, I'm like, he's got the secret rare in his hand. He's got 5 open energy. He kept trying to attack. You know, there's something going on. Like, I think he has a secret rare in his hand, and so I was just debating what to do.
Yeah, you're in an interesting spot because, like, you do have 17 in your hand. If you wanted to play 17,
Which right here, I pay the 7 to play 17.
Okay.
Psychopath.
Because I'm like, he's got, because I have no unison on board. I'd have a unison in my hand. Even though I run 9 unisons, I didn't have a unison in my hand. And it was just like, I was like, I don't have any of the counterplay Trunkses, you know, to put him back in his hand. If I did, that would have been the play, but I didn't. And I was just,
Man, you missing some battle cards in that drop. What's she doing out here?
Is it both you and your opponent's drop area as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
no, it's just the opponent's drop area. It's both your hands and your opponent's drop area. Battle cards. And but yeah, here I told myself, like, early on, like I said, my whole thing is I don't want to get him down to 3 life, and then my brain is yes, start swinging. If I had just done the crit with,
You could have crit
17
with 17
and
past turned,
yeah,
or even just swung into his unison.
yeah,
Because now he could pop a card with his leader's effect.
exactly. That's why I goofed there. And then I swung. I didn't swing with a 30k. I was like, no, I'll swing with this first.
Goodbye, 30k.
Then, yeah, that was a massive like misplay on my part. 'Cause now I'm like, I've just lost. Like at this point, I'm like, I just lost the game.
Well,
My blocker's gone. You know, he can do double strike.
I mean, yeah, the leader gives himself double. Gives himself double strike, right?
He gives himself
Yeah.
double strike. It's
Yeah.
like plus like 10k, right?
And you did just feed him 3 cards
Yeah,
or 2
Well,
cards because one's a crit.
One's a crit.
Yeah, I think if you would have applied like the crit and then apply pressure to the unison and just pass it down for him to draw 1 card, and gone off that. Now, Grant, you would have had your blocker then, so you could have stopped his leader sleep from going into you. But it's just one of those things like you don't. It's kind of hard to tell how much it would have changed in that situation if you would have played A instead of B.
Yeah, and regardless of.
To note here, that Goten was in the drop area before. It would have been back in the deck after turning the
That
tide.
is true. You would have had no battle cards in the actual.
He had 1 Raditz from comboing, so that's what I was gonna say.
so-
Regardless of it, he had 1 Raditz from drawing that he comboed with, so he would have had a red-green regardless to do the.
You did crit the Raditz to him, so yeah. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, thank you for your opportunity, and keep in mind, just buttons down below and on the screen. Well, since Fluff isn't here, he's requested Jimmy do outros.
You can always tell who won a game with Austin by Austin's energy going into the video. Like, take note of that from now on.
Don't
It's
take
kind
note of that because it could spoil
Take
your
note of that.
video.
Nobody cares about spoilers.
You don't
If
read
you-
comments.
Bro, I don't give a fuck about the comments. Actually,
In the-
I do enjoy the comments because I love replying to them sometimes. Mainly just because of harassment.
I've never seen you reply to comments. I've always seen Productions on Attack reply to comments.
I still don't know who that is, but I bet they have sizable